smokers, this ain't no dang jokers. I hope everybody's ready for a wild week in the market. In this video here today, we're going to go through exactly what's going on in the market this week and everything we have going on. And yeah, I just want everybody to be prepared for what will be likely a pretty crazy week in the market. So first things first, we obviously have the Russia situation to deal with, right? You're seeing this as the main headline pretty much on all mainstream media out there about the Russia situation, right? Now, this week's really important because this is supposed to be the week that if Russia makes a move, they're supposed to make this move this week, okay? So if the move doesn't happen, I think the market will have some relief in that. Now, the important thing to remember, if Russia does make a move in this scenario, they don't have to make it this week. Like, it doesn't have to, they don't have to do it this week. They could drag this thing out for another week and another week and another week. Meanwhile, energy prices could go up during that time. They might not mind that necessarily. And so what you got to understand is, yes, this is the big week. This is the week that it's supposed to go down if they do make a move, but do keep in mind, they could drag this out, they could drag this out for weeks more, maybe even another month or two. Who's to say they don't, essentially, right? And so, yeah, this is supposed to be the big week, though. So we'll see. I don't have a prediction on if Russia's going to make a move or not. I think there's a lot of reasons why they might not make a move, but nonetheless, we're just going to have to see about that, okay? But that's a big deal for the market. That's everywhere right now. Now, we still have big earnings going on. Most of the mega caps have already reported, but I can tell you, there's a lot of stocks reporting this week that these are market movers from the psychological side of the market, essentially, right? A lot of these companies aren't like, $1 trillion market caps like Amazon and, Microsoft and Apple and a lot of those big dogs that report at the mega caps, I call them. But these companies are very important for the psychological side of the market. And these can really dictate if the market's, feeling bullish or really, really bearish at a particular time, because a lot of these companies are what I call super high growth companies. Okay. By the way, make sure to subscribe to the channel if you're not already. And we also have the massive V-Day sale going on for the private stock group Financial Fortress right now. That's ending, I think, within like 24 hours or so. So if you want to access that before it ends, check out pinned comment down there. So when we start out here Monday, nothing crazy going on Monday. It's really Tuesday through Thursday where we got the real drama in the market, okay? Marriott, I think, is important to hear what they have to say about guidance for, basically their hotels and how things are looking there. As far as after the bell, you have Roblox reporting. So Roblox, not a stock I personally own, but I can tell you that's a stock that a lot of, folks are in that are, more growth investors. Let's call them that, okay? And so when you have something like Roblox reporting earnings, that's one of those stocks I'm talking about that is a big stock for the psychology of the market and if this market's going to move up or feeling, bullish or not really, essentially, okay? Airbnb is important because this is obviously the ultimate travel play. And, we hear about mask mandates going away a lot of places. We're probably going to get all mask mandates to go away over the next couple months. Obviously, very recently, right? Corona numbers have dropped off a cliff. So anything they can give us in regards to guidance, very important. You know who else is super important? Winning resorts. Winning resorts, a very, very important one there. So when it comes to Wynn, I'm hearing a lot of rumors and things that China is going to potentially open up more and more over the next few months. What happens with Macau? So Macau, if you didn't know, basically, Macau's been almost closed for 2 years now, essentially, okay? Technically, it's been open, but, when you start looking into how difficult it is to try to even get into Macau, if you can get into Macau, and then trying to leave Macau, oh my gosh, okay, it's a disaster. So basically, Macau's kind of been closed for like 2 years, and there's, a lot of talk that those, all these restrictions are moving away now, and essentially Macau can open back up for full. That would be a boom for Wynn's business if that happens, and I mean a massive, massive boom. I've seen what's played out in Vegas when we open back up, and I can see, the activity in Vegas, and I can tell you Macau will see something very similar to that, and I would expect that over the next 12 to 18 months, the business just to ramp up massively in Macau. So very important what Wynn has to say there. And as far as the, obviously they deal with VIPs, they deal with high net worth individuals, they deal with a lot of folks that have, net worths of anywhere between hundreds of thousands of dollars or millions of dollars or even billionaires. And so whatever they have to say is going to be important at the end of the day, okay? Then, basically before the bell on Wednesday, Shopify. If you want to talk about the ultimate stock that is one of those growth stocks, right? that everybody looks at and says, what's the feeling of the market? Well, Shopify is right near a 52-week low right now, which explains the market psychology right now, which is, risk off. Don't take any risk in any stocks. And Shopify is a higher growth company. That's the way everybody looks at it. Trade Desk, same exact thing, TTD. A lot of folks view that one as another high growth company. And so these are sorts of stocks that it's not just important to kind of watch whatever their earnings are, but I'm really, really intrigued this earnings period to watch what happens with these stock prices. And do we finally get some folks finally, wanting to take some risk out there? Because we all know Shopify is a beast. We know its business model is amazing. We know that Shopify has growth for, long into the future, right? But with that being said, this is sort of market recently we've been in where the market says, I don't care about your future growth. I don't care that you're going to be this and this and this. I don't care that someday you could be $1 trillion company, which Shopify has a realistic possibility of being $1 trillion company within the next decade. The market doesn't care about any of that right now. And so I think just as important to watch the numbers is actually watch the stock price and what the reactions are to those two particular stocks, but specifically Shopify. Then after the bell, you got big dog Nvidia, which is now a massive company, right? And so when it comes to Nvidia, this is another one of those very high growth companies that you're going to want to hear numbers. Now, obviously, we're going to want to hear what's going on with GPUs, CPUs. We're going to want to hear what's going on with the supply and demand out there. We know demand is high, but what's going on with the supply of these chips? Or is it easing up a little bit? Because everybody's looking at this and essentially thinking about all the chips that go into everything. Nvidia is a big player in the chip space. We know that, a massive player. And even if you think about something like Corsair Gaming, they've been kind of held back over the past year or so because the supply, supply's been constrained so bad. It's hurt companies like Corsair Gaming in a massive, massive way, and they've called this out. So what do we hear from Nvidia? Hopefully it's getting a little better at least, and hopefully it's not getting worse, okay? Metaport, another one of those companies that a lot of folks, like to play that are into higher growth plays. Applied Materials, a material company. I think, their numbers should be strong, based upon everything I see in the overall economy. QuantumScape, another one of those, higher risk plays that a lot of people are playing. Fastly, same exact thing, okay? So when you're looking at a lot of these stocks, these are the stocks that really make or break the market in terms of the larger cap stocks that are seen as the higher growth companies. You want to talk about another one of those perfect stocks in that category? Look no further than Palantir. Yes, good old PLTR. So when it comes to Palantir, this is a stock that's been heavily beaten down. I think recently it's trading for $12, $13 a share. Palantir's got a beautiful future in front of it at the cross sections of artificial intelligence and data. And if you're a company, especially a big company, I think you have to consider using Palantir's products. And they're probably going to make you a lot more money than you spend on the Palantir product at the end of the day. And so when it comes to Palantir, it's got an exciting opportunity, but another one of those companies people don't care about right now. Now, the good news is with Palantir, they should be profitable. But guess what? Same thing with Shopify. Shopify should be very, very profitable this year. But the problem is with these companies is they're lower profit companies. And so even lower profit companies have been cast to the side this year, right? Where people are like, I don't even care. Even if they are profit, there's been like a false narrative put out there in the market that the only way your stock price has gone down recently is if you're an unprofitable company. That's cap. Okay, big lie there. No, you look at a lot of these companies that are profitable companies, they've been destroyed as well. Okay, and so that's the situation with something like a Palantir. They're expected to be profitable this year, but no one wants that stock right now. And does that turn around? So I think this is another one that's very important to watch, not just the numbers, but also the stock price and the reaction there. You have Walmart reporting Thursday. Walmart's just a big beast, not big growth when it comes to Walmart. I think it's actually important to listen to the Walmart call or pay attention to those Walmart numbers, mainly from the standpoint of hearing what they have to say about inflation. And, if you're talking about a company that sells everything outside of Amazon, it's Walmart. And so if inflation's out of control, which we know it is, Walmart's going to have certain comments to make about that. Or there's certain, I can almost guarantee you, analysts are going to ask questions about there's certain segments they're seeing more inflation. How are those cost increases being passed along to consumers? Is it being well received, or is it kind of pushback? And so I think it's going to be very important to listen to those Walmart earnings and hear what they have to say. And if you're talking about a company that deals with, everybody out there, that's Walmart. Fiverr, another one of these high growth companies that everybody looks at, and you're like, I don't know if I want to own Fiverr right now, right? Other than that, not really too much before the bell Thursday. After the bell, Roku would definitely fit this category. Dropbox stock I personally own. I love DBX. Dropbox is a growth company, but they're not this type of growth company. They're not like an Nvidia. They're not like a Trade Desk. They're not like a Shopify. Dropbox is a solid growth company that's a profit machine, a cash flow machine. I'm expecting good, strong earnings out of Dropbox. They're more of a needs-based service. And so, yeah, I'm expecting nothing but good numbers there. You have Shake Shack reporting, not too interesting to me. And then Friday, you have another one of those stocks that a lot of folks like to take risk in, DraftKings. So DraftKings is going to be an important one to see what the reaction is there. And then John Deere. I think John Deere is always one of those companies just watch and hear what they have to say about their business. Not as important as Caterpillar, because Caterpillar is huge in the construction segment. John Deere is getting big in the construction segment, and they made a big move a few years ago for a company that's big in that space. But you're going to be able to get some gauges on what's going on in the overall economy from that company, but much more so from Caterpillar, okay? So nonetheless, this is a very big week for earnings, and specifically with a lot of these companies that, you can really get a gauge of where the market's at and how much risk the market wants to take or not take in the market at a particular time. So yeah, it's going to be a big one for earnings, and there's more companies in that reporting. That's just kind of the big ones there, okay? Fear and Greed Index. So Fear and Greed Index recently has been obviously, on the fearful side. We're not in extreme fear right now, but I can tell you the vibes of the market are giving extreme fear. The market indicator by CNN Business says only fear, but I can tell you the vibes I've been feeling out there is extreme fear. I've seen nothing but people saying, I'm going all to cash recently over the past few weeks. I'm short in the market. I'm buying puts, things like that. I've seen so much of that activity out there right now. I've seen people that are on the sideline saying, I don't want to buy yet because of and there's this going on. And let's be honest, there's a lot going on right now. You got inflation. You got, inflation's been going crazy. You obviously had the Fed and, Wall Street every other day is coming out with, there's 7 rate hikes, 8, 9, 10. They keep raising the numbers as far as that goes. So you have that fear. You have the Russia situation. So many different things to be fearful of in this market right now, and when stock prices are going down, it adds to this fear. Some of this fear could usually be brushed off if the market's doing well, but the fear gets extra fear when the market's going down at the same exact time, right? And so I'll be keeping a track of the Fear and Greed Index this week and kind of seeing what happens there, okay? Now, when it comes to a few stocks, this is big to watch a few stocks this week. First one is Meta Platforms. So does Meta bottom this week? This stock's been in basically free fall for the last couple of weeks here. And if you're talking about a company that really, really matters to the market, it's Meta. I mean, this is even after this massive drop, the stock fell off a cliff, right? This stock's still almost a $600 billion market cap. And so if this stock continues to be in free fall, it's going to cause more scare in the market, more panic in the market, because folks have looked at Meta, right? Meta is seen as one of the safest stocks in the market, right? That is the view of Meta, one of the safest. You can make an argument that Apple's safer and Microsoft's safer and Google's safer, but of the stocks in the stock market, this is a top 10, like what people would usually view as one of the safest stocks in the market, right? But when it comes to Meta, the stock's fallen off a cliff, so that's made a lot of people uneasy, like, wow, if Meta fell like that, who's to say that, next couldn't be Apple if they reported some troubling numbers? Apple and Microsoft made it through because their numbers were amazing, and specifically Apple's numbers were incredible. So you couldn't push that stock down. But a lot of folks look at this one and they're like, man, if that happened to Meta, who's to say it can't happen to my stock next? So I think this is very important to just kind of keep an eye on this one and see, is this a week that Meta finally bottoms? If it is, that's good. That's a good sign in the market. Let's just put it that way, okay? If it doesn't, and this baby just keeps smashing through 52-week low, it's just going to cause more fear and more panic in this sort of market, right? PayPal, another one of those stocks to watch this week. Is this a week PayPal bottoms? This one's been in complete free fall, and this one's trading now, to ranges it was trading at several years ago. I mean, you can go back to 2019 and find it trading in these sorts of ranges, and we're in 2022 now. So, and you think about all the progress PayPal's made on the revenue side of their business and the net income side of their business, the expansion of their business. And this is one of those stocks, it's the biggest of the big fintech companies, right? It doesn't get any bigger than PayPal. And so when it comes to PayPal, there's not going to be any comfort in any of the fintech space until PayPal bottoms. When this baby bottoms, then people will feel comfortable with taking some risk. But until this one bottoms, people are going to say, I don't want anything to do with fintech right now, because look at PayPal. New 52-week low after new 52-week low, new multi-year low after new multi-year low. That's more important than the 52-week low. The fact is PayPal's hitting new multi-year low after multi-year low. And that's incredible because this company's done nothing but put up amazing numbers for the past several years. And here they are trading at a multi-year low. So obviously this is one I'm buying right now, and I'm going to continue to buy this stock if it continues to go down. I think it's, if you're looking for a large cap stock, yeah, I don't think there's many that you're going to find more interesting than this one. So yeah, does PayPal bottom this week? Big question. Shopify, same exact thing. This stock has been in complete free fall. They have earnings this week. Now, if I had to guess, I would think Shopify will go up on the earnings rather than down. But if this one continues to go down and bust through a new 52-week low, this one, next thing you know, this stock could be trading at a multi-year low as well, right? It already is kind of basically trading at the lowest it's traded at since 2020. But I mean, could this one go down in 2019 ranges? That would be just silly. When you think about all the progress that's happened in Shopify's business over the past few years, that would just be ridiculous, okay? And you think about how much of a game-changing company this is, it'd be absolutely silly for this company to trade anywhere down to $500, $400, something like that. But, never put it past this sort of market. When you have everybody just ultra fearful and people not wanting to take any risk, they start to look at this and they're like, why do I have to own Shopify? The P looks low, but then you look at the forward P and it looks high. And then you look at the price to sales ratio, it looks high. And so people are like, why do I have to own this stock? Look at the 1 year price target analysts have. There's like 1 million analysts that cover the stock. And the average consensus for the 1 year price target for the stock is over $2,000 a share. The stock's $854 here, which basically analysts are saying this stock's going to more than double up over the next 12 months, right? Doesn't mean it's going to happen, but that's just quite interesting. And especially when you have a stock like this that's this popular, that's $100+ billion market cap, and analysts are basically saying this one's going to well over double up over the next 12 months. Now, the problem with Shopify is a lot of these analysts are kind of looking like fools in the short term because the stock's been going down, right? And so next thing you know, all of a sudden you can end up in a situation where those 1 year price targets start dropping and Shopify kind of gets in this downgrade cycle from a price perspective, and then Wall Street continues to put selling pressure on it. I think it gets a little bit silly, but don't put it past this sort of market. If they can drop Meta the way they drop Meta, who's to say they can't drop Shop to a new 52-week low or something like that. So big week for if Shopify actually finally bottoms here. Okay, now, next thing to watch this week, this is one I was watching obviously last week. So if you didn't notice, the Russell outperformed the indexes pretty much every single day this past week, meaning if the markets were up, the Russell was outperforming to the upside. And if the market was down, the Russell was going down less than a lot of the other indexes, specifically the NASDAQ, okay? And you look at Friday, perfect example of this, the Russell was down 1.02%. Meanwhile, NASDAQ was down almost 3%. Dow was down 1.4%. S&P 500 was down 1.9%. So can we get 2 weeks in a row where the Russell just almost every single day outperforms these other indexes? I can tell you if that happens 2 weeks in a row, that's not by accident. That would be a situation where, the market's in sort of a bottoming out process, because what happens essentially is, when you get the downside momentum in the market, the Russell's going to lead you there, and it's going to, do way worse in the market, and it's not going to go up nearly as much as the market goes up if we're in a downtrend cycle, right? If we're in a bottoming out process, the Russell starts to outperform the other indexes. It starts to, on down days, it goes down less than the other indexes. And on up days, it goes up more than the other indexes. So I think that, kind of watching what's going on with the Russell this week, if we get 2 weeks of the same exact pricing action, I don't want to say, small caps are out of the woods necessarily, or it's all clear from here, but that would be a very, very good sign, because like I said, if it happens 2 weeks in a row, it's not by accident. There's changes in the market happening on the underlying fundamentals that are going on where folks are saying, what, now's the time to start getting in Russells. And we know, small caps, S&P 600 small caps have been trading the cheapest they have at a sustained time for basically over a decade now. That's not sustainable, right? So the flip has to end up happening, okay? So I hope you guys enjoyed this. As always, get ready for a crazy week in the market. Once again, that massive deal we have going on for V-Day for the Financial Fortress and the Private Stock Group, that's ending here soon. So if you want to take advantage of that before it ends, take advantage. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel. If you want some free stocks from Moomoo, you can get some free stocks. I'll have that as a pinned comment as well down there. They're doing a deal right now with a link I have in the description. I also have as a pinned comment. Get 5 free stocks valued at $3,500 each. So pretty cool deal while they still got it. Much love and have a great day.